Welcome to the Royal Predictions for 2026. Today's video, I'm starting with Meghan and Harry. Let's see what the cards want to reveal. What's coming up for this duo in 2026? I'll read separately a spread for Meghan, a spread for Harry, and then a spread for them both together, and we'll take a look at the connections there or the dynamics of the relationship. I look forward to getting into this reading. Alleged, it's entertainment purposes only. Let's see what kind of a year this couple will have in 2026. So my first spread is Meghan and Harry together. What's coming up for them in 2026, their predictions. This is a reading I've been excited to do over the last month. I just haven't had time to do it. So I'm excited to get into this energy today. Now, the first thing I'm drawn to is negotiations, ceasefire, flight path, and travel. Does this mean on the cards for 2026 is some kind of negotiations with the royal family for Harry? Bit of traveling back and forth between the UK and the US for Harry, trying to negotiate a ceasefire within the family structure. So for them, they're in the headlines, entertainment, spotlight, always in the spotlight, Meghan and Harry. 2026 will be no different. But what they may be in the spotlight for in 2026 may be some strange events. So something quite different to what they're normally in the headlines for. They're changing course. There's a course change over here with the cards for them as a couple. Now, could this be connected to some kind of dishonesty within the relationship? Or some kind of dishonesty that's coming out that affects the relationship or causes a course change that's needed? Now, could this be connected to the urge to do a ceasefire or negotiation with the royal family? Okay, down the bottom here, I feel Meghan energy. Down the bottom with these cards here, we've got the Queen of Coins and the High Priestess. Okay, so it's somebody that does what it takes to achieve, to get things done, highly motivated. This is somebody that's seeking new information, keeping certain information close to your chest too. High Priestess is keeping information close to your chest. So not wanting certain information to be released, gathering facts. So this is coming up around Meghan's energy around her energy being a very strong queen of coins, somebody that does whatever it takes to keep certain knowledge or information close to her chest. So she is always in the headlines. Some of the things could be dishonesty and maybe untrue since we have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is also a defensive card as well, so having to defend yourself against others' words. And maybe they're changing course because of it. So the Two of Wands is all about path path choices and course correction. So maybe they're changing their path slightly, which is why they're going to be in the headlines for some high strangeness, something a little bit different for them. Animal signal instinct speaks of what's going on with animals. Now, this could be some kind of foundation that they're setting up or something to do with animals in 2026. And adapting to new events. So there's new beginnings coming up for them that they're adapting to, a new situation, new groundwork, new alignment, having to align themselves or adapt to a new situation. That's a baby card too. I don't think it's a new baby, but it could be to do with their children. Children starting school, maybe. Maybe there's some new beginnings around children. I'm not quite sure how old the children are. But we've got some new beginnings, new starts, and having to adjust or align or adapt to a situation or a new schedule or a new situation involving something new or something to do with the children. Now, it could be that they're trying to protect their investments, protect their family structure. I do feel it's family connected here. They're really needing to protect their family here. Maybe they're regrounding or realigning, finding somewhere else to live, um, because they need to protect their family. They're searching for this could be related to their protection services too, the security, their protection and the security. So searching or seeking new security because of those all those cards together. We've got new protection, new security, and searching for new security on the grounds. So does that mean something happens on their grounds and they're having to look at new security, or they're having to adapt to a certain situation that's going to require new security, more security? But what we see on the table for Meghan and Harry in 2026 is in the spotlight as usual, but for this time, maybe some strange events that they're not normally in the. Maybe they're acting peculiar. Maybe there's a shining a light on their relationship because there's some strangeness there, strange behavior when it comes to activities around even the children or their family or their relationship. It's not so much strange events, I think, that they're in the spotlight for. It's strange behavior within their relationship. People are questioning it. What's going on? There's a course change here. There's dishonesty. Somebody's not telling the truth about why there's course changes, why there's more activity around negotiations and flights. Always in the spotlight for the wrong reason. But there's some strange activity around their behavior, how they're acting within the relationship. People are questioning it in 2026. But still, Meghan will do whatever it takes to keep her personal life, her private information close to her chest. So people will be digging. There'll be a level of dishonesty or having to defend your actions, defend your choices or the course of actions you take. Could be dishonesty information that comes out. This could be misinformation and legal matters around misinformation. Big cards on the table for 2026 for Meghan Markle. Let's start with card number 1. There's a rising tide coming her way. Emotional overwhelm. Inundation on social media. Information surge. Data dump. All over social media. And she's looking for an exit role, looking to close the door on a chapter, looking for a way out of the situation. Wants out, wants an exit plan. Role exit, closing a door. Something all just being a movie, or is this something caught on camera? Brain fog, hazy, not in right mind. It's a state of being. Deception with the moon in the upright position. The moon is what's going on around her? So she's always in the media. The moon brings deception, and it could just be a play for the camera. But there's a lot going on. There's a big information surge, data dump of information all over social media, looking for a way to shut that down or a complete exit roll. It's inundated, rising tide, overwhelm emotionally. Moon's also emotions. Really just causes brain fog. There's a lot of fatigue energy. You can see these two sitting side by side. This is brain fog, not in the right mind, but this one is just really overwhelmed. It's in water, so really just overwhelming energy. The card says don't stress, but it's a nicer way of saying that there's a lot of stress around at the moment. The yes brings a bit of relief to that energy. It's a sun card, so it's bringing it highlights ways to move forward. Now she's going to be needing to take care of herself to nurture her energy. It does say care for others, so we could be seeing energy around family members that need where she should be caring for. I don't know if it's father energy there, but we're seeing energy. Once again, it's another dog card. I've just got a highlight there. So animal again, like in the first spread. But the nurture, care for others card is indicating that she's having to play a nurturing role, or there's more to caregiver energy here. Parental energy. Is that her as a parent or is that her parents? There's more to it behind the scenes that we're not being shown. A lot of stress coming up in 2026 for her. A lot of deception when it comes to how she is in front of the camera versus behind the camera. Really trying to get out of certain things that's coming her way in 2026. A lot of stuff is going to be released on social media. Now I know Meghan and Harry do have a thing with social media where they do misinformation. They're quite strict on that, but it doesn't seem to be ending. 2026 is showing an inundation of information on social media. Possibly deception, possibly just a movie. To me, this feels more like her energy around how she behaves in front of a camera versus when the cameras are not rolling. But this also could be revealing photographic evidence or video evidence as well, and trying to find a way out of that scenario. Really interesting cards though, quite easy to read. They're quite easy to see what's going on, but quite a lot of stress coming up her way, brain fog and mental fatigue, mental stress. It's saying don't stress. This is a nice positive card on the end here. The sun shines, the sun brings vitality, it brings a sense of clarity as well. The sun brings clarity while the moon brings unclear. The sun brings vitality where the brain fog brings fogginess and stress. The sun kind of overrules that. So yes, maybe that she's changing paths. All that course correction may be Harry because it's not coming up in her spread. Her spread's more about an inundation of information being released, exit plan, closing doors, ending roles, deception, one way in front of a camera versus what's really going on. In the background, there's a lot of tension and stress. Much more going on in her life in the background than what is in front of the camera. But some of that may start to come out on social media. This is a nice, bright, positive card, though. It's the only real positive card that I'm seeing here for her in 2026. Maybe it's about a new path, something that lights her up, brings her vitality, brings her soul nourishment that she needs because there's so much stress going on around her. There's so much information coming out about her. It's quite a stressful situation to be in. And I'm imagining that this is also affecting the relationship, like what we saw in the first spread. And maybe it will come into question about their relationship, like on that first spread. Interesting cards on the table for Harry, Prince Harry. So what we have for him starting, there is changes coming for him. He's doing a course correction. He's changing course or making the conscious shift to change some things around him. It's like a course correction. There's a definitely changes coming for him in 2026. Now, the earth fracture is showing relationship possibly on shaky ground. Any relationship, it could be relationship with his family, it could be relationship with Meghan, but there's some kind of fractures and relationships on shaky grounds. Now, I see a breakthrough coming for him, a successful outcome when he changes course. So he's going to be changing direction, changing course, which will bring a breakthrough, a successful outcome. Now, issues here, shaky grounds when it comes to surveillance, how many, the paparazzi, the media, the social media. We did see an inundation of information released about them in 2026, and maybe there's going to be a breakthrough around surveillance, around court cases to do with misinformation or surveillance, media even. So there's a successful breakthrough that comes through for him. But I do think also that there's shaky ground around caught on camera or on cameras to do with surveillance or monitoring. Okay, we've got the wealth status. We've got the King of Coins and his status, his role, his wealth. There's more to it behind the scenes. His status is on shaky grounds. His wealth on shaky grounds. It's coming to light in 2026, more thought going into it. There's more behind the scenes to do with his status or his wealth or that he's thinking about. He's letting something go. He's got heavy burdens on the table and he's letting something go. Is he having to let go of something because of wealth or status? Releasing. He's having to be very brave here. He's having to be brave to stand up to outsiders, is what I'm hearing, but he's having to be very brave here to stand up to. Look, it could be misinformation, but I feel like it's more than that. Somehow connected to that wealth and status, to the king. Maybe he's being brave to stand up to the king. The King of Coins. Around questions about his wealth and status. So all that travel that we saw on that first spread of going negotiations with him on flights to go to the UK for negotiations with his family, he has to be brave here because what he is negotiating status and wealth. There's much, much more to it behind the scenes, and he has to be very brave and stand up for himself here. Stand up to the king. Which king are we talking about? King Charles? Are we talking about the future king? I'm not sure, but he's having to negotiate and stand up for his status or his wealth in the future. Something is hand-picked. Birthright. To me, that looks like he's having to be brave and stand up to the king around his birthright, something to do with his birthright. Inheritances, maybe. So he's got desiring more. Maybe sometimes he wonders about the choices that he's made. There's more knowledge and information that will be released in 2026 around him. Maybe it's a book. You can see the book on the table there. Maybe another book is coming his way in 2026. Letting go of something, heavy burdens, maybe that's because of the book. Maybe these negotiations have a lot to do with what's in the book or having to write another book for money. But there's a warning that comes with that book. Now, I don't know if it's an existing book, The Spare, I think it's called. I don't know if it's letting go of something around the book here. All tied in to wealth and status, all tied into having to be brave to face the king, whichever king we're talking about his birthright. This card is what he should be his entitlements, I might say. and letting things go? Is he letting go of any future plans to write any further books? Is he letting go of royalties of some sort or having to pay out certain royalties? There's warnings or deceptions about another book, about writing another book, but he is desiring more. He needs more. So here we're coming back into this wealth and status. All is tied into each other hand in hand. This is 2026. Breakthrough is coming his way once he changes course. Certain things, a lot of things for him are on shaky grounds. And it was all tied back into that first spread where we saw the plane trips and the negotiations. So let's see what this brings. Next week, I will move on to King Charles and Camilla. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that reading. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again next time.